Hello, Yella here. Today, the Intel 10th Gen CPUs actually came out. We can show benchmarks and stuff like that. But sadly, I was unable to get a CPU for the release date. I am getting one very soon, so I will upload a video with benchmark results and stuff as soon as I am able. But this time, we're going to be opening a box, and that box is the MSI MEG Z490 ACE. So let's look at it. So let's have a look at the box here. This is quite a high-end board from MSI, but it's actually not their highest end. But the price is pretty up there, so it should be quite interesting to see what they actually put in the box. Anyway, let's get this open here. First we see this is just a reviewer's guide that they put for me, so I know what to say and stuff, but this time it's just gonna be a first look. I actually don't know much about the board itself. We are going to take the board away and have a look at that for last. First of all, we look at this room right here. These are what RGB. Is this an RGB splitter? I think it is, like a very, very long RGB splitter. Or two extent. I only see 3 ends, so it must be a splitter. Yeah, it looks like a splitter. Okay, then we have what looks like what is this? This is a weird cable that I haven't actually seen a whole lot of before. This might be some RGB stuff as well. I am actually not sure. I will look at that later. This looks like addressable RGB. Actually, I don't know a lot about RGB, but this does look indeed like addressable RGB to me. We get a case badge. This one is actually not metal. Some of them are made in metal, but this one is definitely plastic. A small, very, very long brochure of MSI products. Gaming products, for sure. A thank you card for choosing MSI. That's very neat. Three M.2 screws. That probably means we have 3 M.2 places, slots, whatever you want to call them. What is this? Join. Oh wow, the glare. Ugh. Here we go. MSI Reward Program. So this is a VIP club. I actually have heard of this before. This is not really something new. I don't really know what it actually means, to be honest. But yeah. So a CD, you should never use this. Download the newest drivers from their website instead. That's much better. And this is pretty hard to get up. Okay. Stickers for SATA cables. So you stick this on both ends of your SATA cable. You write what's actually on there. And it's much easier to find both ends when everything is installed. And we see a Quickstart Guide that is very basic. It's trying to go be all round as much as possible. This might not be exactly how your case looks, for example, or stuff like that, but they try to be very general here with this. And yeah, last we have the manual. The manual here is pretty thick, and that's very normal for the glare again. That's very normal for motherboards these days. This has absolutely everything that you might need for the motherboard. Next up we have Wi-Fi antennas. This looks like a stand of some sort, and I think there's a magnet in there. And this looks like the actual antenna. that you stick onto this base right here. Yeah. And we have 4 SATA cables. Of course, 6 gigabit, sorry. We're gonna put that aside, and we are going to look at the board itself. This is a bit hard to get up. Oh, this is a little bit heavy. Oh, let's see if I can get it out here. Come out, come out. There we go. Okay, so this is a little bit of a beefy looking board actually. It definitely has a lot of VRMs. I think that I read in this review guide that it had what? It was a 16 plus 1 power phase with 90 amps power stages. This seems to be a new norm for the C490, that we get 90 amp power stages, at least on the high-end side. And this is a 16 plus 1, so they probably have like an 8-phase controller. Do they have doublers? Yeah, these are doublers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, no, are these drivers? I didn't actually look at this. I will try to get more in depth on that later on. Yeah, so let's have a look at the actual board here. We get 1, 2, 3 M.2 slots, and these are metal covered, so the chipset heatsink here is actually integrated with everything, and these should cool your M.2 drives. Down here we get front HD audio, and we have RGB here, addressable and non-addressable. 4 fan connectors, and something here that I'm actually not sure what is. Yeah, let's jump over that. 2 USB 2.0 front connectors and an LED switch. So this you can probably turn on and off all of the LEDs on the board. I don't know if this one actually turns off these ones as well, but if you don't want LEDs, you probably wouldn't be connecting these either. So yeah. We have power and reset buttons down here, and a postcode. That is really nice to see. And of course the front panel connectors. So let's turn the board around here. Yes, we see 6 SATA connectors. Having a lot of SATA ports is not something that we see very regular these days. Actually, 6 seems to be the norm. So USB 3.0 front panel, and we have a USB Type-C front panel right there, the ATX24 pin, and we have some LEDs right here. If the board fails posting, one of these LEDs will light up to tell you basically where the problem is, not what the problem is. So this is CPU, DRAM, VGA, and then boot. And if you have a problem with your RAM, of course the RAM will light up, and then you can see on the display down here what might actually be wrong. In my experience though, this does not tell you exactly what's wrong anyway, but this is a very quick way to see what's causing the problem. Voltage read points. So you can read the voltage with a multimeter. That's very nice. System fan right here, and we have another system fan up here. Addressable RGB here. And this seems to be where that 3-pin connector goes into from before. But it doesn't say anything on the board what it might be. No, I don't know. Anyway, CPU fan and pump fan. So you use this for your AIO pump or your pump in your water cooling loop, because this one can actually handle more wattage than this one. I think these are designed for 3, 4, 5 watts or something like that, while this one can take like 12 plus. I believe. I have seen some motherboard manufacturers making them up to 20 watts. So that's where your pump goes if you don't want to drive it directly from 12 volts. 2 8-pin connectors. I don't know if that's going to be necessary. It was not entirely necessary last generation. It might be this generation. So what else do we have here? We don't have a whole lot else to talk about. I think there's a backplate that only covers like 1/4 of the board. That's weird why they didn't go with a full plate or no plate. This I haven't really seen before. But yeah, sure. Under these metal things right here for the VRMs, I do see thermal pads. So these will help cool, but it's gonna be very, very little, I believe. So yeah, let's have a look at the I/O here. We see a BIOS flashback button that's starting to be kind of common on most motherboards these days. I really like to see it. When a new generation of CPUs comes out, you can still buy an older board like this and just update the BIOS by putting in a USB key, having the new BIOS here, and then press the button, and everything will be fine. Clear Cmos is very nice to have up here. You don't have to open your case if you're fiddling with overclocking and something doesn't work. You can just push it at the back of your I/O. We have PS2 USB, yeah, down here we have USB, but up here we have PS2 for mouse and keyboard, combo port. This is a very nice feature to have if you're exactly extreme overclocking, because some USB controllers don't work well with Windows XP, and we want to run Windows XP on SuperPi and W Prime, benchmarks like that only use the CPU, because Windows XP is very light to run. We can disable all the services and stuff in Windows XP, and it will become extremely light and easy to run. So we can actually gain points just from running Windows XP. And some USB controllers, if not basically all controllers these days, just simply don't work with Windows XP. So this way we can definitely get a mouse or a keyboard attached to the system with no problem. This is a USB 2. This is probably here for the same case. Like, this is probably a USB controller that works well with Windows XP. But they decided to include the PS2 also. Not sure why, if the USB ports work, but it's USB also takes a little bit of performance if you have USBs plugged in, especially with keyboards and mouse, because when you use the USB, the CPU will constantly ask the keyboard or the mouse, "Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on?" But with the PS2 one, you will simply only have inputs when you press a button or move the mouse or something like that. So you can gain very, very few points by using the PS2 one. So it is nice to see, but we're talking very, very small point gains here, like almost to the point where you can't really see them anyway. Anyway, we have USB, I think this is 3.2 or something. I honestly, I get so confused with the USB generations these days. I have to look them up every single time I talk about them. But yeah, this is the red USB ones, which I believe is faster than the blue ones, because blue ones are USB 3. These are, I believe, 3.2. One more red USB here, a USB-C. That is definitely 3.2, and that's probably the fast type. Yeah, it says 20 here and 10 up here. So this is probably much faster. This is probably 20 gigabit and this is 10 gigabit. Yeah, probably. We see 1 gig LAN and 2.5 gig LAN. I really like this 2.5 gig LAN because upgrading from 1 to 2.5 is not that expensive, but the gains are, well, 2.5 times. So getting a router and switches and stuff for 2.5 gig is really not that much more expensive than 1 gig, and you get a nice, very nice bump in performance, in network performance from this. We have 2 antennas. I think one of them is Bluetooth and the other one is Wi-Fi 6. We do see a Wi-Fi 6 logo here, so that has to be it. And of course we have the audio section here. So that is the MSI MEG Z490 ACE motherboard. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.